Hey guys, what is up, and welcome back to the KBA. And today we have some interesting things, a couple trades, couple games, not really couple. We have some big front office moves. Now the Sacramento Kings, they are not having the best year right now. They are currently kind of in the bottom of the West, all right? They're in the bottom three of the West. They're not doing great, all right? They just recently made a trade for Jeremy Grant, but today they decided to make some moves with their staff. Fired Luke Walton, fired Alvin Gentry, and you can see they replaced them with Mitch Richmond and Roy Hibbert as their assistant coach. Roy Hibbert, retired a couple years ago. Now he's here coaching for the Kings. A little strange. And then Mitch Richmond leaves his job at St. John's as an assistant, comes and makes it into the big time in the NBA, and joins the Kings to be the head coach. Played here about 7 years, and now he's coaching them. So hopefully they can lead them. The Kings roster looking a little rough. They got Fox, they got Grant, they got Halliburton. Outside of that, don't really got much, but that's about to change. Not only do the Kings, edit their staff a little bit by getting Mitch Richmond and Roy Hibbert, they also went out and signed LiAngelo Ball to a 4-year, $12 million contract, and kind of bringing him onto the Kings, giving him a chance in the NBA, and hopefully he could develop and actually do good with this young Kings core. Now that they have a core of Fox, Grant, and Halliburton, then they combined it with LiAngelo and Davion Mitchell. They have a very young core all around that could grow together and be quite a dangerous squad in the next upcoming years if everything kind of pans out how they hope to be. Grant is aging though, so by the time Halliburton and all of them have, boosted into their shells or became the players everyone expects them to be, maybe he's not going to be as great, but I'm sure he'll still be an important part of the squad. You could call this the Sacramento Kings episode because they've made a majority of the moves in today's episodes. Now, you see Buddy Hield, Terrence Davis, 3 firsts going over to New York for Kemba, Mitch Robinson, and Evan Fournier. A little bit of a weird trade. I don't understand it. You have Halliburton, you have Davion Mitchell, you have Fox. Why do you need more guards like Kemba and Fournier? I have no clue. They get rid of Terrence Davis, who is, kind of suspected to have a really breakout season in the real NBA this year. So interesting to see what they do with that. A couple picks going away, and they get a good rim defender in Mitchell Robinson, veteran guards in Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier. Now, the only other trade in this episode is one between the Grizzlies and the Nuggets, as the Grizzlies are going to be getting Aaron Gordon, Austin Rivers, Bol Bol, and a second-round pick from the Nuggets. In return, they get Steven Adams, Brandon Clark, Desmond Bane. The Nuggets, they kind of just get more scoring and a little bit more defense. Brandon Clark is pretty decent defensively. Steven Adams is Steven Adams. You get a sniper in Desmond Bane. Pretty good move for the Nuggets, but they do have to get rid of Bol Bol, who is actually, he's averaging 9 for them somehow. I don't know how he's getting minutes. It might have been like one game that he got minutes. And Aaron Gordon's actually not having a bad year. Having a pretty decent year. Not as good as his older years in Orlando, but he's having a pretty average year, and they give up a second. So it's a trade. I don't know much else to say about it. The Grizzlies, though, free up a lot of cap as they get rid of Steven Adams, and everyone else is 1-year deals. So they could be going out to make a splash in free agency. Who knows? I don't really see anyone in free agency they might be able to pick up, but does free up some cap space, but they still get some good players in return as well. The Dallas Mavericks have won the Mo Hark sweepstakes, and he has now joined the Dallas Mavericks, who are having actually a really great year. Moses Brown is growing complete, I don't know why at this rate he's growing, but his potential apparently, I don't know. He's having a good season, all right? Moses Brown, 8-8 on the season. He's 78. Brunson, and then we saw last episode Tim Hardaway Jr.'s improved. The Dallas Mavericks have won the Mo Harkless sweepstakes, and they do get another veteran added to the team and help out Tim Hardaway Jr. Overall, decent move, good signing, 1-year deal, little small deal, but helps them in the final/playoff push. Kings continue to make moves, and this move is a little bit of a strange one. They released Damian Jones, 74 overall center. You can go ahead, go pick him up. Let me know, DM me if you want him. Don't, you know the free agency rules by now. You know how this works. Hit me up if you want Damian Jones, but they will be releasing him for another center, and that center is none other than Justin Patton. They signed Justin Patton for a 1-year deal. Doesn't make sense to me since neither of those players were getting playing time either way, but Justin Patton comes on to this Kings squad for just the remainder of the NBA season. Now, right before we get into any primetime games, I am going to shuffle through every single team's available contract extensions. So in this, you'll see a couple different answers. You have ineligible, which means you can't sign them right here. You got will resign, so you can DM me if you're like, yeah, I want to resign. DM me. He'll resign. He'll get that expected amount or a little bit less or under, depending on, you know, if he accepts it. So if we click Curry and if we go down, you know what I mean, we'll try to give you the best deal possible. But if he says will resign, you can decide how much you kind of want to give him. Just shoot me an offer. Do 1 mil over or under for each player in terms of what their expected are. If you go under and you go under too much and they say no, then I'll make it so they can't re-sign with you at all. So be careful, be smart, make sure you know how much you're giving your players and how much you're willing to give. Certain players, if you see test free agency, they will not be able to get picked up at all. You won't be able to bring them back to your team. They will not come back to the team if it says test free agency, unless they are a restricted free agent, which is basically the younger players, the rookie year players, and you kind of can bring them back for free, or you can match any contracts that they sign. So keep that in mind. But if you see this right here with Serge Ibaka and Drummond, you cannot re-sign them. Will re-sign, you can shoot them an offer. If they decline it, they won't come to your team. So be careful with that. Test free agency, you got no choice. Undecided, there's really no option. I can't even hit yes or no. So you obviously have the Sixers. You got the Bucks right here. You got all this. Like I said, test free agency. Unless you have bird rights, you can try and re-sign them, but does not look very possible here for, you know, these guys. But I'll just, like I said, shuffle through. If you have any questions, just DM me. The Bulls. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, poor Bulls, man, poor Bulls. Now, like I said, these rookie players, these younger players, like you just saw with, Kobe White, he's undecided. It doesn't even matter. You have bird rates. Those kind of players, you'll be fine. Same thing, they won't re-signs if they're younger. You can just match them because that's how restricted free agency works in this game. But yeah, I'm just going to go through these quickly. You can screenshot, you can slow down the video to see all of these. I'm not going to go over each one. You can always message me to double check. Not if they say test free agency, I don't think I'm going to have it that they for sure won't come to your team, but if they say won't re-sign, they won't re-sign. Test free agency just means they're going to mull offers and they're going to want more money. But won't re-sign really does mean they will not re-sign with your team. Test free agency is more of a, okay, they're going to mull other offers. So keep that in mind. Also keep in realism, keep in realistic stuff, all right? You know, if there's a situation where it makes no sense for a player to re-sign or makes no sense for a player to join your team or leave your team, keep that in mind. Nothing's going to happen too crazy, right? If you have, you know, if you just traded for, you know, Wendell Carter Jr., he's not going to go leave you in free agency. I'm not saying that situation. I'm just giving kind of an example. There's a lot of players. Some of it won't make sense, but with Michael Bridges, like he's not going to re-sign. Even if you have bird rights, he's going to be very unhappy, and he's going to keep lowering his overall because he requested a trade. Still hasn't been moved. He's not moved by the trade deadline. He's going to sit out for the rest of the season. So I will put that there. Ja Morant, man, this is just rough. But like I said, bird rights, you'll pretty much keep the player if you want to spend money in restricted free agency. When we do free agency, regular free agency, we'll all be in a giant stream. So we'll be cooling for that. Nurkic, Thomas Bryant, Rocco, all these dudes. But yep, that's all free agency. You can stop and message and figure it all out. I would pay attention to this because if they say we'll re-sign and you don't re-sign them now, you might not get them later. So be careful. Look at all that, mull that over, and hit me with what you want. Here we go. It's time for our first primetime game of the night, and we are starting it off with the New York Knicks taking on the Toronto Raptors. Now, you saw earlier in the video that the Knicks have a new pickup, a new acquisition in Buddy Hield. They also got Terrence Davis. Don't expect him to play any minutes tonight, but Buddy Hield is on the roster, and he is here to play the Knicks 18 and 18. We're here in Toronto. Look at all those kids jumping on that sign. Imagine how cool it would be to know you're in 2K. Like, imagine if you're one of those kids climbing on that little dumb sign. It'd be wild. Now, Pascal Siakam only averaging about 19 points a game this season. He's having a bit of a rough year. He kind of started to digress last season, and this season he's kind of on that same trend. Now, look at Emmanuel quickly with, you know, Evan Fournier leaving the lineup, Kemba Walker leaving the lineup. The Knicks have decided to put in Quickly in their starting rotation over Buddy Hield. Don't ask me why, but they have, and he has been on fire. He is the second in the league in free throw percentage this season, right behind arguably the greatest shooter of all time, and honestly could be considered one of the best free throw shooters of all time, next to Brad Wanamaker. If you know, you know. But Emmanuel quickly had a very great game here tonight in his first career start. Well, maybe not first career start, but first start this season. And he got some buckets, but Siakam and Robinson and Noel and well, Robinson's not here, but Noel got some dunks quickly with the quick three. Haha, it rhymes. Now, the Knicks went up quite a bit here. Up 10 is Obi Toppin getting dunks over Chris Boucher. Shout out Mr. Shat there, as I believe, is that Freddie? That ain't Freddie shooting the three. Someone be shooting crazy threes. Speaking of Freddie, Freddie has, increased his scoring every year. This year, it's only been by 0.4, but Buddy Hield his first basket as a New York Knick is a dunk. Not something I'd expect to say. Usually, he's, a sniper, a shooter, a 3-and-D type baller, but you see Randall getting the dunk, falling to the ground, getting a little slippery over there as Pascal Siakam, deep three towards the end of the quarter, but Randall answers back, buzzer beater three to send the Knicks into I believe it's a 17-point lead going into the second half, and make that 20 thanks to RJ Barrett's deep three, as Barrett, Randall, Rose quickly, they got some scores, they got some buckets, as Scotty Barnes misses the jumper. Boucher puts it back, though. New York kind of was in control this whole game. Buddy Hield gets a three to drop. He had some nice shots here tonight. RJ Barrett was finishing at the rack. He was dunking, he was shooting, he was scoring, doing the things that RJ Barrett loves to do. Scotty Barnes, maybe a potential Rookie of the Year candidate right there with the dunk, but Buddy Hield with the off-foot three. I don't know how he drained it, but he did. Now, it looked like the Raptors were going to come back, and then I was just very heavily deceived, as it's 111 to 95. Big three right there from the corner. 5 minutes left to go. Not a lot of time for them to come back. They were shooting threes like crazy. They were looking like the prime Golden State Warriors. Even Dragic was pulling contested, but Randall with a little shimmy, shake, spin move gets the basket to go. He takes a step back, gets the mid-range, cooking up in the fourth quarter, but in the end, doesn't matter for Toronto, as the New York Knicks win by 22 points here against Toronto. Both teams kind of struggling in the East, but I think both of them could sneak into the 8th seed. More New York than Toronto here, as Derrick Rose, one of the best leaders in the NBA, youngest MVP of all time as well. Siakam, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 17 for OG. Freddie had 16, 4 and 6. Shot 7 for 19, though. That is not what you want to see. Malachi Flynn had 16. Goran Dragic had 9. He shot pretty bad. So did Scotty Barnes and Gary Trent Jr. Precious had 4 and 2, and Chris Boucher had 2 and 7. Over for the Knicks, though, Manuel quickly led all scorers in scoring. You know how that be. 28 points, 25 and 10 for D Rose, 19 for RJ Barrett. Right behind him, though, Julius Randle with a 19 and 14 performance. Buddy Hield had 13, Toppin had 7, and Noel had 10 rebounds. Everyone contributed to a big W for the New York Knicks and their new players. And now we're jumping over to Ohio, over to Cleveland for the second game. And, well, yeah, the only second game. The last game of the episode, yes, it's a little bit shorter on terms of games. It's a 20-minute episode. There's a lot of information in here for you guys. There will be in towards the end. Now, Karis LeVert, he has been more efficient this last month. Now, we're getting closer to the All-Star break. Next episode, I will announce the All-Star captains. And we'll be able to do the All-Star draft, that kind of stuff. But look at Darius Garland finishing, getting a dunk right around, Domantas Sabonis. Now, the Pacers are kind of at a weird standstill. They recently traded for Mike Conley. That kind of gave them more leadership, more scoring. But TJ Warren is not playing like the bubble god. Miles Turner, he's been getting minutes, but he's not playing like everyone thinks he should be. Domantas Sabonis is kind of falling off low-key. But, they still got TJ McConnell. They got O'Shea Brissett, who played very well in tonight's games. Ricky Rubio gets the tough layup to go, sends him to the line. Look at the All-Star voting, by the way. We're just talking about that. Giannis, KD, Embiid, and then Jarrett Allen is right there as well. Now, right now, it's looking like it's Giannis and LeBron as the two top voters, as usual. So it's looking like we're going to get Evan versus Puff in terms of the All-Star game. But we could also be getting Curry's right behind, and I believe Tobias Harris, surprisingly, is like 300,000 votes away. So I will decide that pretty soon on who's going to be what captains. I believe it's ending up going to be Puff and Evan. Lakers and Bucks GMs will be the captains for the All-Star games. Evan Mobley went on a tear right here. Got some blocks, got some catches, and dunked the ball like crazy. But look at this deep three not getting to go in. Down 13 are the Indiana Pacers. Now, what's a really big shocker, and I think the biggest shocker of this NBA season, is the Cleveland Cavaliers have moved into playoff contention. Now, in real life, Cavs are probably bottom, 13, 14, 15 in the league. But in this, man, the Cavs have been otherworldly, right? You got Jarrett Allen, just got a bag. Speaking of him, that defensive snatch block on Miles Turner, who's, kind of known for snatch blocks himself. Kevin Love is playing like he actually wants to, still have an NBA career. Pulls that three. I mean, the Cavs destroyed the Pacers. 137, 139. So 139, 105. Darius Garland has been phenomenal. You've Colin Sexton coming off the bench because they're starting KCP. Overall, the team has been looking wonderful. They made a couple trades with those Wizards. I believe they have KCP. I think they have Lauri Markkanen. They have a great group of guys. Colin Sexton off the bench. May I remind you, 34 points tonight. Darius Garland, 18, 7, and 10. Evan Mobley had 18 and 7. Caldwell Pope had 16. Jarrett Allen with a huge double-double, 14 and 15. Bertans is getting minutes. Okoro is getting minutes. Everyone is playing great in the minutes they're getting. Karis LeVert had 22 over for the Pacers. Turner had 20. Mike Conley had a stressful night with only 14. And TJ McConnell had 10 assists as well. But, man, do they have a little bit of a struggle shooting. Now, we're going to move over to award races right now. You can see the MVP right here, Giannis, Luka, Harden, LeBron, those kind of guys, Rookie of the Year. You can see them. They're going to go by really quick. So if you can't read them in these 4 seconds, you can stop, pause, look at them, screenshot, do whatever you want to do. Colin Sexton, just talking about him, leading the league in, the 6th man of the year voting. Kevin Love, also, don't know if you noticed, was at the bottom of that list. Giannis, he always wins Defensive Player of the Year. He's there. And then most improved is Tyrese Maxey and Wendell Carter Jr. Now, remember, at the end of the year, this will not be voted off 2K. It will be voted by you guys. We'll have a little special thing going on, and I will show you the top 5, and we will vote from there as a league to see who gets what award. Now, we're over at the Player of the Week. You can see Tobias Harris got another one of those in the last month, and he got Player of the Month for the Eastern Conference in November. The dude has been balling. Like, surprisingly, one of the better players in the league right now. His transition over to Orlando could be that reasoning, and if you look at the AllStar voting, he is second in the Eastern Conference, ahead of KD, ahead of James Harden, ahead of Kyrie, Trae Young, Bradley Beal. Tatum isn't even on there. And then you look over the West, you got LeBron, you got Zion, you got Ingram is actually sliding up in there. A lot of good-looking things for those people. Over in the conference standings, the Philadelphia 76ers are still on top, followed by the Nets, Bucks, Hawks, Celtics, Cavs, Bulls, Knicks, Heat are also on the bottom. Hornets, Wizards, Magic, Pistons, Raptors, and Pacers, the worst team in the NBA right now. Pacers are struggling. I don't know what's getting into them. I don't know why they're struggling. They did just add Mike Conley, which is a great pickup. San Antonio Spurs, Rockets, Thunder, Timberwolves, and Suns highlight the bottom. Kings have made a lot of improvements, along with the Nuggets and the Trailblazers there. And it goes Dallas, Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, Jazz, Pelicans, Grizzlies, Trailblazers looking like the top 8 seeds in the Western Conference. But man, the Kings are moving up in the conference. Their moves have paid off. Their new coaches have paid off. Everything they're doing, their dividends have been great. Little quick power ranking showing, nothing crazy. This is just kind of getting an idea of the total rankings across the league, not just conference wise. Now we head over towards the league leaders. You can see the points real quick. Like I said, not going to go over every single one. You can stop and pause if you want to look at them. Tobias Harris is number 10 for points per game. Rebounds still headlined by Rudy, but Giannis is right there. Cody Zeller sneaks his name as well. John Wall, you saw right there, is in the list of top assisters, top passers in the league. LaMelo Ball as well. Steals, Ben Simmons, Jimmy, Michael Bridges, Murray, Lonzo, and LaMelo. AD, those kind of dudes there. Blocks, Gobert, once again, he is a defensive monster. He has 15 rebounds on the year as well. Jarrett Allen has 13 and 13, almost 3 blocks. AD, Durant, Giannis, Turner, Wood even slides up there, and Derrick Favors getting a huge amount of blocks. We head over to triple doubles. Jokic leading the league with that. Sabonis, and you can see, is a negative 400 plus minus, so he is hurting the Pacers pretty badly. But Vucevic, you see right there, got a triple double. Tobias Harris has a couple, nothing too crazy. We go over to the rookies now. Jalen Green leading all of them in scoring with about 17 a game, followed by Suggs with 15, Cade Cunningham with 15, Mobley with 14, and Scotty Barnes with 11. Jalen Green looking like the clear front runner for Rookie of the Year, but there are a lot of other super close possibilities. You look at Mobley and all these guys. Giddey getting some boards, Bouknight getting some boards, assists. Giddey with 5, not a lot, but you also got to remember these rookies aren't playing a lot of minutes. They're kind of looking at their scoring. Davion Mitchell is right there as well for assists. Now, Jalen Green, Giddey, and Suggs, and Bones Highland are the only ones averaging more than a steal. And when you go over to blocks, it's Evan Mobley. I don't know why Pirtle's there. He still is. I don't know why. And I was trying to check for triple doubles, but for some reason you can't look at that at the rookie report. We're going to end off the episode with me scrolling through the Draft Express for all the rookies. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you leave a like. Comment down below if you want to join. Comment something about your team. I don't know. Join the Discord if you want to be involved a little bit more. And enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Other than that, it's been me, your boy, Little Cody. As always, peace out.